So is it possible to start dropshipping, specifically high ticket dropshipping, with just $500 to your name? Well, the short answer is yes, because I myself have helped these two brothers from, I believe, Saudi Arabia just over a year ago, Mohammed and Khalid, build a $150,000 in 3 month business with complete scratch, brand new store, and now, as of what I know, they're doing over $1 million a month with their high ticket dropshipping business. So it just shows you, yes, it is completely possible, but again, this is not going to be applicable to every single person. Now I'm going to break down exactly what they did to, essentially start with $500 USD and build $1 million a month e-commerce high ticket dropshipping business. So how did they do it? Well, in the beginning, we had to work one-on-one because, well, first of all, for full transparency, they were able to work with myself directly one-on-one because of the fact that we just recently launched a program when they first were interested in high ticket dropshipping. So, we essentially exchanged working one-on-one for a client testimonial, and essentially that's how, we started working together. Is, we help them one-on-one craft a niche. We, in terms of finding a niche, we look for something that's low competition, high demand, and we also started with building a store on a free Shopify theme. So what they also did is they leveraged the Shopify $1 a month for 3 months deal. So if you go right here, type in your email, you can get Shopify for $1 a month and up to 3 months for $1 a month. So essentially 90 days, $3, absolute no-brainer to use the Shopify free trial link down in the description below. So they started with the Dawn theme. So the Shopify Dawn theme is completely free. Sorry, recap. They start with a low-cost theme, but in terms of any low-cost themes or cheap themes, Dawn theme is a free Shopify theme, but there are plenty of other cheap or affordable themes out there. You can also try downloading paid themes, but fair warning, your website will get DMCA striked at some point, and you will need to buy the paid version, and then you will need to transfer all the code, all the changes over to the new theme. So if you have the budget, get the full paid theme, but if you don't, you could technically use a paid theme, download it from somewhere. It's technically not legal, it's pirating, but a lot of people did it. I even did it when I first started, so I don't recommend it, of course, if you have the budget. But if you're just scrapping by, then do whatever you need to build your business from the ground up. So they use the Empire theme or the warehouse theme. Their site looks a little different than what I saw it was used to look like, but essentially in terms of free themes, go to the Shopify store, or you can go to something like Theme Forest that has affordable themes, and then go to Shopify, and then you want to go to shopping, and then you want to look for something that is geared towards high ticket, so something that is for a large catalog. So in terms of what is good for a large catalog, it's mainly going to be the search bar. So for example, put in password, so search bar right here, collection pages or banners like this, easy to use or easy to read. Footer page, product pages should also be nicely laid out like this. Shipping returns, something like this is not a terrible theme at all. Of course, Empire would be better, but if you're on a budget for something like this, $29 is pretty good value. Here's another one called Urban Mart that also looks pretty decent. Here's a demo, put in the password, and you see, looks fairly decent for just $29. You can definitely make high ticket sales using this theme. Again, you want it to be built for a large catalog, have a search bar, and the collection pages should be, should have the filters, should have a nice way to display the description if there is a description, filters right here. So this is not a bad theme. Any of those two would be a good theme to start with if you're on a complete budget. Now the third thing that they did with starting with $500 for their whole budget is they got as many suppliers as they could. Okay, suppliers are absolutely free to close for your high ticket dropshipping store. If you have to pay for a supplier, then do not work with them. They're either a fake supplier or kind of like an aggregator that's not the actual supplier, or they're a very high-end brand which requires like an upfront capital, in which case you don't really want to work with them just yet, but you can in the future. So in terms of finding suppliers, all they did is typed into Google the product that they were going to be selling, and then they went to a few websites that are selling those products, for example saunas, and then they just literally looked on competitor sites, typed in sauna for example, and then went to the brands that produces saunas or makes these saunas. For example, let's just take the very first one, Amarak. All we do is search that up into Google, get rid of 24, find supplier's website, and you can see they have a dealer because it literally says find your dealer right there. And all you do is just contact them using the phone number right here, or you can also see they have a dealer portal, which essentially just means that they accept dropshippers or essentially dealers in this case. So contact them, apply to become a dealer. I have lots of videos on how you can do this, but essentially they got as many suppliers as they can inside their niche. Costs $0, just takes time to call them, email them, use that as follow-up, and to close as many suppliers as possible. And then what they did is they launched ads. Okay, so essentially you can listen to the original case study, but essentially they launch ads. They started with just map brands, and they started with brands that are high margin. So for example, Amarak sauna that are like $5,000 plus, they would advertise these in Google Shopping. They would also eventually launch search text campaigns once they have profits coming in, and they essentially launch ads with map brands that are high margins and slowly work their way up with the bids. And essentially they made super fast website improvements as well. That was really the key thing that allowed them to scale and become profitable with just the $500 budget. So essentially they installed something like Microsoft Clarity, which is absolutely free, by the way, which is essentially a free heat map session recording software for your website. So they installed Microsoft Clarity on their website, and then they can monitor what's essentially going on their site, and they can see where people are falling off. They can see the interactions on the site, and they can use that to essentially improve their website, to generate more leads, which are essentially phone numbers, live chats, in emails, those leads, and then turning those leads into sales by following up with them, asking, hey, I saw you were interested in one of our Amarak saunas. How can we help you? Find out what their reasoning is, and get them to convert into a customer. Now, this all sounds super simple in theory, and it is simple, but implementing it can be another challenge. And that's why we have the High Tech Ecom Mastermind School community. That's like a free mini course to help you get started and make your first sale with high ticket dropshipping. Again, that's linked in the description if you want to learn how to make your first high ticket dropshipping sale for free, the mini course. So they installed Microsoft Clarity. They made super fast website improvements, and then what they did is they took that profit, invested in one-on-one, and they invested into agencies, Google Ads agencies, email marketing agencies that help scale their business forward. That was a long time before they actually invested, but that's essentially what they did, is they kept stacking the profits and investing into agencies that will help scale the business and remove themselves from the business. So essentially, that is essentially how they started with $500 and scaled to $1 million a month. Again, I don't really talk too much with Muhammad Khalid anymore because of the fact that we had some things going on in the past, but full respect to them. They were able to start with $500 and scale to $1 million a month using the high ticket dropshipping business model. And they started working directly with myself when we first launched the coaching program. So with that being said, if you want to work with my team and I and build a high ticket dropshipping business completely to 10K a month profit in 6 months guaranteed, then click the link in the description to apply for coaching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.